Welcome, Braveheart, to the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast. I have something rather special that I would like to wrap up in 2021 with. At the beginning of this year, I had created 10 core messages that I wanted my Bravehearts to hear and to know immediately after going through heartbreak, or it doesn't have to be immediately, but as soon as they found me. All of my content in 2021 was a reflection of these 10 core messages, but I never really shared them directly with all of you. So I thought, what a fun way to wrap up 2021 with my Bravehearts by sharing these 10 core messages. These are 10 things I'd love every human to know when it comes to heartbreak. I'll be talking about two of them each day for the next 5 days so that we cover them all. And I'd love for you to not only hear them, Braveheart, but embody them, share them, and join me in the Braveheart movement. Make them your truths because they sure are mine. I am so grateful to have you here, Braveheart. Let's do this. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Number 5, your life will only go up from here. I always talk about building a bigger and better life than the one you had with your ex, and here is why. It's extremely easy to be over your ex when your life is truly better than the one you had with your ex, right? If you have everything you ever desired, a husband or a wife who is everything you wanted, your dream job, the house you always wanted, making more money than you knew was possible, would you still be doing all this dabbling, this back and forth, this ruminating and runaround stuff with your ex? Probably not. So I love helping you not only get over your ex, but build the life that is bigger and better. That next level healing is truly in understanding that your outcomes in your life are not attached to that person. Really noticing and becoming aware of how you are responsible for the current life results you have. And then recognizing that all you need to do is change the way you think to create any result you'd like to have. And think about it this way. You might think your ex was pretty great, right? Hence why you're here listening to this. You probably thought this person was great. Maybe he or she was better than all of your previous partners. Because let's be honest, your track record of picking amazing, awesome people, right, is only getting better and better. And if that isn't the case, that's okay too. But what you believe is optional. You always have a choice. And what I went through, or when I went through my very traumatic breakup of my 7-year relationship, it was simply a decision. I simply decided that there was no option. I had to make a life bigger and better. I was only going up from here. No way was I going to live a life less than. Absolutely not. I had perhaps around 60 years left of my life, and there was no way I was going back to my old life, the life that I had before I met my ex. I was going to live out the 60 years of my life being better, living better, having everything that I desired, regardless of whether my ex was not in my life or not. And even if you're 40, 50, 60, or 70, I've worked with Bravehearts of all ages, and they have all found bigger and better lives. I want you to think about it like this. If you're 40, you have 60 years left. If you live to be 100, 50, you have 50 years left, 40, you have 60 years left. And if you're, or I'm sorry, opposite, right? If you're 60, you have 40 years left. And then if you're 70, you still have 30 years left of your life. 30 years, Braveheart. That's a lot of time. Considering that the first 18 years of our life, you probably lived for your parents. They weren't even your years yet, right? Now, the cool thing about only going up from here is that you don't have to spend time worrying or pondering what if it isn't. You can simply just get to work creating that bigger and better life, identifying what that bigger and better life is, solving problems around it instead of worrying and sitting in inaction. and wallowing about how terrible your life is and freaking out about what if my future doesn't get better, your brain is going to spend time problem solving the actual problems that will help you get to where you want to be. For me, some of those problems were like, how do I live in a beautiful place with the amount of money I have right now? How do I make more money to live in a better place? How do I make sure I find a remote job? I wanted to make more money than my ex. How do I travel and have a kick ass job? And then it was like, how do I become a life coach? How do I create my own coaching business? Where do I want to live? How do I want to create my relationships? How do I create the best relationship? How do I become the best breakup coach? How do I create baby Marilyn? How do I live in a beach house? How do I create in-person retreats for Bravehearts? How do I make sure every Braveheart builds a life bigger and better than? How can I amplify the Braveheart movement? Those were true problems that I wanted to be solving, not worrying about if my future is going to be bigger and better. I just decide it's going to be, and we get to work problem solving the correct problems. The list can go on and on. So, Braveheart, even I want you to think about what would it look like to go up from here? You can even take qualities and things you loved about your last relationship if you want, but what would be even better, even more fun? The beautiful thing about this is that you can go out and build this amazing, beautiful, epic life. What I call, right, your Sunday, so that when someone comes to join you, they are just the cherry on top of an already epic Sunday. And if that cherry rolls off the Sunday, no big deal because you've got the whole Sunday, baby. It's building a life that no one can take from you. No one can touch it. It doesn't mean you don't get to fall in love and build a life with someone else, but that core life is yours and no one can touch it. It's truly an incredible feeling, Bravehearts. Let's go out and create it. Number 6, not everyone would leave. There's someone who wants all of you, not just the most put together version of you. You do not have to change because you weren't the problem that caused the breakup in the first place. Too often, I hear Bravehearts mention they showed up terrible in their relationship. They did unforgivable things. They showed up like crazy humans and made mistakes. And they say this all as if it's a bad thing. And I just want to be like, welcome. We are human here, not robots. It's probably not the last time you're going to do crazy, weird things. The fascinating part is that they think that they have to change to be a better human, to be a better partner, because if they wouldn't have shown up like that, then their partner wouldn't have left. And here's the real truth. Not every person would leave in that situation. There is someone who wants all of you and not just the most picturesque version of you. So I want you to stop trying to change yourself because you think you're a problem. Changing from that place doesn't work. It's miserable. It's proving energy. It's not good enough energy. It all comes from lack. And it's the most miserable experience when you're trying to change from this place of feeling like you're a terrible person. What would happen if you acknowledged that the way you showed up wasn't great, wasn't your finest moment, but that doesn't make you any less deserving? And that was okay. You can have the same grace and compassion you'd have for your child or your best friend, all for yourself. Then saying, okay, I'd like to change that about me. I'd like to get better at that, not because I'm a terrible person, but because I'd like to try it differently next time. I'd like to have a different experience. I'd like to have a different kind of relationship. And that's going to start with the relationship that you have for yourself. But ultimately, we need to remember that feelings fuel action. Those feelings are created by thoughts, and you can't control your ex's thoughts about you. When you try, it's actually called manipulation. His thoughts about himself, his future, his life is what truly created his feeling that led to the action of leaving the relationship, not you. You were a neutral circumstance doing crazy stuff in his life, and he gets to choose what kind of thoughts he has about it. And not everyone would choose thoughts of, this is terrible, I'm leaving, I can't be here anymore, my future's not great, which makes him feel, angry, resentful, whatever, which made him leave the relationship. Some people might be like, wow, this person's going through a lot. What's happening? Have compassion and start to ask questions in a calm manner. Not everyone would leave, no matter what you did. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a human being having a human being experience, and maybe you want to try to do it differently next time. Amazing. There is someone who wants all of you, not just the most put together version or the most picturesque version of yourself. I love you, Braveheart. You have got this. If you're loving the 10 things you need to hear after a breakup series and they are truly resonating with you, I'd like to personally invite you to the Get Over Your Ex in 3 Months or Less program that is now open for enrollment, where we not only hear these messages, but we live them to not only get over our exes, but build a life bigger and better than the one that we had with our exes. Now, Braveheart, I promise you, you will get over your ex, but please know you're invited to do it differently with a group of Bravehearts who have your back and are cheering you on in a whole new way you've never experienced before. You are not alone. You are fully supported and here when you are ready. I love you so much, my badass Braveheart. Just keep going.